Hello and welcome back to Quilts by Carmel. I am Joe Carmel and I'm here with my makes and mistakes of 2022. So these quilt tops have been quilted, most of them, all except for one has been quilted. They either been bound and or need binding, and the plan is to get them done by the end of this year. But first, I want to start off with my very first quilt top. I was pretty fortunate. I started quilting when pre-cuts were around. So my first quilt top is made out of two charm packs. And I think it's called Lily Ridge or Lavender Ridge. I can't remember the name of it. But I was so in love with purples. Boy, I don't know if this color is showing like I want it to. Let me see if I can adjust the lighting a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, that's a lot better. So it currently hangs out on the back of our couch, and I stitched in the ditch, and I have this very pretty purple on the back. It's very simple. I pulled the back fabric over to the front. I didn't know anything about mitering at the time, so I just put the flap down and sewed around the corner. So that was my very first quilt top. I still love it, and I liked seeing it every day on our couch. So that was the first one. The second quilt top I have is not one of my makes. I bought it at an auction, a charity auction in Temecula. I don't know the name of the quilt top. It looks like it's made with creams and reds, and I've always wanted to do one. I just haven't done it yet. And it looks like to me it's made with a layer cake, but I might be wrong. But I thought it was very pretty, and it was very nice that I could do for charity. Let me see if she has a name for this quilt top. Not Perfection is what her name for it is. That's cute. I love how she did the binding. I love this taupe or tan color, and it's done really well. The only hiccup I have is she didn't put red in the bobbin. And so you can see that she machine bound it all the way around. But other than that, it's a great quilt top, and I love it. And I love that she put her label on it, which is really good. That's something I need to do more often. So there's that one. So this next quilt also was not made in 2022, but it was quilted in 2022 by Tucker Nance of Tucker Sewing and Quilting. And I just have to show it to you really quickly. I call it the Woman of Gold. And I sent it to him because I wanted some custom quilting done. And I just have to show you how fabulous it turned out. Look at this. It is so beautiful. And I'm just gonna, I asked him to focus on the dress and her hair and the necklace. And it is just outstanding. He did a great job. What I'd love you to see also is the back. So you can really see the detail and what he went through to get this Woman of Gold done for me. And I love it. I love how it turned out. It still needs to be bound, but it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to show you the bottom of it as well. So he did a fantastic job, and I do recommend. If you want some custom quilting done, he got it back to me lickety-split. It was really a great job. All right. Okay, so now on to my mistakes. The first mistake. So I made this quilt top. The pattern is called Radial Way, and I do not remember the fabric. I made it a couple years ago. But it had what I thought was a glaring mistake. So I had a hard time putting the binding. But I finally just grabbed some black and put the binding on this year. So I want to show you the quilt top, and then I'll show you the mistake. So it's really bright and happy. It's a good size lap quilt. All right, let me find the mistake. There it is. So this is before I knew that you had to square up each block. And you can see my 1/4 inch was way off. And so these two are supposed to meet. That is supposed to meet. That's more than 1/2 inch. So what happened is I end up cutting down this strip on the end. And I just did not want to give someone my mistake. But I think it's going to be okay to give to charity. Give me your opinion if you would give this one to charity or keep it. But I think someone else could use it. And it's really, I think it would be a fun one for a teenager, because look at the backing, and it's very neutral. It's yellow and black. It's boy or girl, I think would work. But give me your opinion. Would you keep this one or would you give it to charity? All right, my next mistake. All right. I also love this quilt top. It is super cute, and it's made of 6.5 inch blocks. There's no pattern for me. What I did is I just have a 6-inch square here. These are 3 2.5 inch strips, and then this is a 9 patch. And I just alternated them, and I tried to keep the dark blue consistent. So let's see if I can get that off. There we go. So that's what I did with this top. It is a rectangular top, so it goes like this. Is there a mistake? Yep. I did not have enough backing, and it's a directional fabric, so it got put on horizontally. So the lesson I learned is make sure you have enough backing to do a vertical seam if you want a vertical seam. I still love it, and I still plan to gift it to a pastor or someone that's in the ministry, Christian ministry, that I know would love it. So that's my plan for that. I still love it. I just love the colors. I love the blues. It just turned out so well. Got so much lint everywhere. All right. My next mistake. All right. This is my first African fabric quilt. I call it the African 2-step, and for 2 reasons. It's African fabrics. I got 2.5 inch strips from Quilts, and I'll link her information below. And the name of the pattern I used is called 2-Step by Missouri Star Quilt Company. It turned out super cute. And then I used my leftovers and did put them in the border, which I really love. I love how that turned out. I put some Australian fabric on the back to just make it happy, and I love it. I love how it turned out. The hiccup is I floated this quilt top right here on my long arm, and I did not have the backing fabric taut enough. Therefore, I have, where are they? Here they are. I have pleats in here. Let me see if I can get you a sample here. Oh, here it is, right here. You can see it. Let's see if I can. So right here, you see I have pleats. The great thing is this fabric, you really can't see it, but I plan to tack it down and I'll keep it myself. So my lesson that I learned on that is make sure your backing, not just your batting, but your backing is taut when you're quilting on your long arm. I have yet to finish binding it. I have a scrappy binding on here, and I just need to pull it to the front and tack it down. And I plan to do this by December 31st. All right, that's my plan. But I still love it. I love how it turned out. It's so vibrant and happy, and it was my first time working with African fabrics, and I love it. Love it. All right, next. This one, I don't know if it's much as a mistake or a preference, okay? It's gonna look a lot like my very first quilt. So, let me show you. All right. There's nothing fancy about it. It's a layer cake in my favorite colors. So there's nothing really fancy about it. I love that I put this, I call it a pewter purple flannel on the back, and I quilted it in a pentagram that was like grapevines. I don't know if you can see them. Anyway, trying to show, yeah, grapevines. So the mistake, I don't know if it's a mistake, you give me your opinion. I used a dark thread, and I like how the leaves and the grapes turned out. But some people would say no to that. Let me see another one. Show you another. So did I do too dark a thread? What do you think? I like it. This was supposed to go to a co-worker, but what had happened was I like it. I like it. It reminds me of my first quilt. So I've decided to give her a different one instead. I realized I liked it too much to give it away, and someone might not love it as much as I do. So my plan is to keep this one. Next, this is not a mistake. Well, there might be mistakes, but I can't see them that well. It's just a very pretty quilt top. It's a make for 2022. It's called, the pattern is called Jelly Roll Jamboree by Confessions of a Homeschooler. It just takes a jelly roll, another pre-cut, and like 1.5 yards of background fabric. And what's cool about this is once you change the fabrics and you change the background, you get a whole new quilt. So I love it. The fabric is called Sophia. I don't know by who, I'm sorry, I don't recall, but I love how I did the borders here too. So we had a granddaughter this year, and I have been looking and looking for fabric that, you know, just says her to me. And when I saw this, I'm like, this is her. So I am gonna put her name on it, and then we're gonna send it to Germany, probably in the spring. That's the only thing that I wish I would have put some minky or cuddle on the back because she lives in Germany, but it's okay. We'll just send it in the springtime and it'll be for spring. So I love that, and I'll probably make some matching pillows for this. All right, the next one is another pre-cut. It is a rail fence quilt, and I really like how this one turned out. It's made with French General, and I think I love it because of the colors. I really do. And I quilted it in Rose Meander in a very light blue, and I think it turned out great. Here's the backing, and I just put the same color binding on. I used the backing fabric for the binding. So this one turned out great, I think. All right, back to mistakes. This quilt top I finished. I took it to retreat, but I did not get it done at retreat. It's Hometown Halloween, and I have a video on this one if you want to see it. It turned out super cute, I think. The pattern is Flapjacks by Fat Quarter Shop, and I took a layer cake or 10-inch strips and cut them up versus using a fat 8. I think the pattern called for a fat 8. But I love how it turned out, and I tried to get all my directional fabric the right way. You see the little, is this the little witch in here? Yeah. So I tried to make sure all of the directional fabric was the right way. I put this fun stripe on the binding, sorry. And then I used the cape as the backing, so it turned out really cute. The only thing I wish I would have quilted it with either like spider webs or candy corn. I used a pentagram called Seamless, and I didn't want it to take away, so it's just a bunch of big loops. I wish I would have did a little bit more. That's my thought with this. It turned out cute and I love it, and it'll be a great gift, but I wish I would have stuck with the theme. I think that's what kind of bugs me with that one. All right, the next one is my favorite quilt top of this year. I love this backing. It's teal and white, and it has all these positive words: create, inspire, spark, make, start, motivate. It's really gorgeous. And it was the first time that I put like a stripe binding on, and I love it. I love it, love it. It is called, I think it's Quilting-by-Carmel are the fabrics. And here's the quilt top. Isn't it happy? It just makes me happy every time I look at this quilt top. It is really a very happy summery quilt. And the colors of, I think the red that just pops. And I didn't have a pattern for this. I just had a charm pack, and then I had a jelly roll. And then I took a 1.5 inch strip around each. Sometimes I use red, sometimes I use white, whichever would make it pop. Is what I did, and I think it just turned out fantastic. It's my favorite quilt this year. I will say that loud and clear. So that's my favorite one. Now, I have another mistake. It's a block of the month. I started Shine On block of the month. I think it might have been, I don't know if it was 2020. I don't know which year it was, 2019 or 2020. But I thought I would love block of the month. I'll just take it and make it and wait. Well, I'm not that patient, y'all. So let me show you my Shine On block of the month quilt top. All right, here's the backing, which I love. It's a sateen. I think this is by Quilting-by-Carmel. I think this is the early bird collection. I'm not sure, but it turned out fantastic. Also, I really love, once I did the binding, I was hooked. I really like the stripe binding quite a bit. So let me show you a little of this. You're gonna see my mistake probably right away. It's flying right out front. That should give you a hint. Do you see it? It's this flying geese right here. This was one of the last things we had to do. We had to make some flying geese, almost like sashing. And I made mine too big and didn't realize it. And at that time, I was like, that's enough of this quilt top. So I kept this like this, just as a reminder to myself, you know, maybe the block of the month is not for you. Then I also changed this block. This block was an intricate red and white block. I changed it to simplify it for myself. So I made some changes, and which you can do, rightly you can do. It's your quilt, you can do. And also, instead of putting a 2.5 inch strip all the way around, I bound it. So some of my star points are missed because of it. And that was just me being lazy. It is what it is. But it's my quilt top, and I'm okay with it. I love the techniques that I did learn on this block of the month. I love putting the bee together, and this was the first time I ever did a house. So I love that aspect of it. I just think I would have been better off doing it all at once versus waiting a month. And then I think we were during COVID, so we had to wait sometimes. It just wasn't for me. I quilted it in like a daisy flower. I wish I would have put something a little bit more into it, I guess. That's the only regret that I have. I wish I would have made more of an effort with the quilting on this one. All right, I have one more stripe binding. This one I finished at retreat, and I love it. I think it's probably my second favorite this year. The pattern's called String Beans by Pat Sloan. and it's made in the Curiouser and Curiouser line of Tula Pink, and it is fabulous. You will love this quilt top. Let me show it to you. Trying to open it up. So I have a video on it, but it just turned out fantastic. I fussy cut whenever I could. There's a Red Queen, there's Alice, there's a Cheshire Cat, there's the cups. I do wish that I would have been mindful about the direction of the cups. Once I remembered, I made that correction, but there's a couple of spaces that I missed. I put the Tiny Beast, the ladybugs from Tiny Beast, on the back, and I think it was the perfect backing. The only thing I wish I would have did different is the binding. I bound it in this gold, but I really wanted to bind it in this pink. We went to Missouri Star Quilt Company. I think this is the one I wanted to use. We went there, however, on the retreat we went there, my plan was to get the fabric and bind it at retreat. They didn't have much fabric left, and so I ended up doing this gold and yellow. I probably in the future, if I find the right color fabric, I may change this binding. But yeah, I love it. It's a happy quilt. It was so fun to sew. When you have fun fabrics, it's fun sewing. So that's my second favorite. The next one is another stripe binding. It is Corey Yoder's Springbook Blossoms, and it is a super cute quilt as well. It was a block of the month. It was 2 flowers each month for 6 months, so it was a little faster, and I could do like the leaves for all of them at the same time. Let's see if you see it. I do have a mistake on here. I want to see if you guys can see it. Does anybody see it? All right, I'm going to show it to you. I made this quilt top with a jelly roll. And so I had some fabrics, but I didn't have all. And so this is supposed to be a star, but I made it into a sunflower because I did not have a large enough piece to be a star from my fabrics that I had left. So that's the mistake on here, or the mistake or the difference. Let's see. It should have looked like this one, but I did not have a large enough piece to put in the center. So that's what happened with this one. I did do a stripe binding. I'm loving stripe binding. I really, truly love it. I'm gifting this to a friend tomorrow for work, so I wanted to record it before I give it away. I think she'll be really surprised and excited. All right, I got 2 more that, no, I got a few more. This one was my first time ever doing a pieced backing as far as putting blocks in. So I did 9 patches and then I added it to my 108 backing. And I love how it turned out. This is called Teal Log Cabin. Let's see if I can open it up for you. Didn't turn out as great as I wanted it to, but it's still a very nice quilt. It's 85 inches by 85 inches. See it? There we go. So it's a very big quilt top. And I would like, it's not bound yet, so I still need to bind it. I would like to put some of this on the binding, but I have not been able to locate it. It's a yellow from Solana, Robin Pickens, and I haven't found something comparable just yet. And I have a whole bunch of this grunge left, so I may just end up putting this grunge on the binding. That might be my compromise. All right. Next is my very first king size quilt. and I love it. It's made with apricot and ash by Cora Yoder. And first thing I'm going to do is show you the quilting on it. I love how it turned out. It's called Dandelion. Can you see it? I'm trying to, let's see. Maybe I need to move it. Hopefully you can see that nice and clear. It's made from 2 panels and a jelly roll. And I made a king size quilt. This is 100 by 100. So I cut my panels, I fussy cut them to 8.5-inch squares and put a jelly roll around it and then set it on point. And that's all I did. And once I learned that once you have an 8.5-inch square, a jelly roll strip or a 2.5-inch strip with the fabric will go around it perfectly. So you have an automatic block. So that was pretty exciting to learn too. But I love it. I put gingham on the binding and then this 108 charcoal to make it a little more manly. When spring comes around, I will be putting this on our bed. I still have to make a couple of pillows though. So that's my plan for that one. Now, on to a couple that I still need to finish up. This one, we'll start, is Exquisite by, I think it's Riley Blake. I just don't know who made it, but it's a panel quilt top. Quilted it in a very soft pink, and I think the pattern is daisies. Yeah, I think so. So my plan is to give this one to a coworker versus the other one. So I still need to bind it, but that's okay. I can do that pretty quickly. So that one needs to be bound. I have about 4 that need to be bound this year. This one is for one of my male co-workers, and he has a VW bus. He surfs. Him and his kids, wife and kids, love the beach. So I did another panel of the California coastline cities, and it turned out really great. I really love it. And then I quilted it with a variegated thread with yellows and blues, so it actually looks like waves to me. So it turned out really great. I think it did. I put this backing that I got from IKEA on there. It's a very different type of fabric. I think it's like canvas, but it's pretty neat. The hard time I was having with this is I put this very light binding on, and all I could think of is they're going to the beach. This is going to get dirty. But I really like how it pops against the center of the quilt. So I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to finish the binding this week, and I'm going to give it to him this week. And I think he'll be really surprised. All right, do I have any more? I have one more. Nope, 2 more. This one is called Pen and Ink, and I just call it that because that's the name of the line. It's a black and white quilt, and it's made out of Missouri Star Quilt Companies. They had a pattern called Simple Squares, and so it's just some 5-inch squares all sewn together. The thing that I did on this one is I went light on the back. I went very light on the back, so that's very different for me. And I tried to do these circles on the panogram, or on the quilting, excuse me. I did the circles to kind of soften it up a little. But I love it. I love how it turned out. Now I just have to decide, do I put black on the binding or do I put some more of this 108 on there? I typically like a darker binding because that's where you can see the dirt. But I don't know. I'm thinking this might work too. So we will see. So that's that one. The last quilt top I have is, and it's just a quilt top. I made this for my coworker. She loves to camp and and go outside. Of course, it's another panel. It's Aurora Borealis. And I think her and her dog will love this. They love to go camping. And I'm going to put a Minky on the back. I'm hoping to quilt this tonight and be able to gift it to her tomorrow. Bind it also. So that's my plan. I think it turned out really pretty though. So I'm loving that. So you guys give me your feedback. What do you think? Too many mistakes? Or just you would keep them, or would you give them away? What would you do? I guess that's what I'm asking. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and seeing, well, I'll just say walking with me through my quilting journey. I really appreciate it. I'm learning so much and I'm having so much fun. I can't wait for 2023 to get started on or finish some projects and get started on some new projects. I'm working currently on my Christmas quilt up there, and then this is a goal of mine. I want you guys to hold me accountable. That's my Harry Potter quilt. I've done 1 block this year. There's like 18 blocks, so at least I want to do 1 block a month on Harry Potter. So you guys hold me accountable on that. But that's it. I want to thank you guys for coming back and staying with me. If you would, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, comment, and or subscribe. And I will see you one more time this month, but then I'll see you in January, okay? You guys have a great day. Bye.